Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Deborah. So wonderful to talk
Like,
to you again. It was in person last time when I saw you, so
yeah, nice to see you too.
okay, wonderful. So the first thing, I just want to make sure that I'm pronouncing your last name because I've been always calling you Deb or Deborah.
Uh-huh.
It's Blum. Blum, correct, right?
Yeah, and there's a funny story behind it. My family is from Austria, so correctly you should pronounce it Bloom. But when my mother was pregnant with me, she got so many jokes about her belly blooming that she changed it to Blum. So
It's funny. That's well, it bloomed into a very beautiful and compassionate flower
thank
that has bloomed into this beautiful sanctuary that we'll be talking about today. So
you. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so actually this is our first Instagram live. I was a guest in Instagram lives. We did these as Zoom, and initially we started them as Facebook lives, but Facebook was quite glitchy.
Mm,
And so we had to change them, and so we will be talking for about 45 minutes.
okay.
And so just to have an idea on how to organize the time, would it be possible for us at some point to visit with the animals at the sanctuary, or you would not be able to have enough coverage?
Yeah, what
Wonderful.
we should do is towards the end that we can walk outside. Hopefully my cell phone coverage will, but I have some really cute
Wonderful.
goats that are really close. So yeah.
Wonderful. I have been following the story about the two baby goats that you have added this. Oh my God. Okay. Just so, of course, visiting you guys and visiting the sanctuary again, and you're just only 2 hours away from me. It's enough excuse, but seeing those goats, I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
I would be fine.
Yeah,
So,
we're getting 2 more babies today, so very excited.
yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Are they rescues or?
Yeah, they're rescues. They're from a dairy. So one boy, of course, because boys almost always are, but then we also have a little girl coming with us as well. So, sometimes, organizations and companies, producers that breed will choose to not breed goats. And as you know, in dairy, breeding is a constant thing. So sometimes even females that have characteristics, whether it's physical or emotional or whatever, that they don't want to breed are sometimes unwanted as well. So on occasion, we do get females from dairy. So, and we don't care the reason. We love everyone equally, of course, because we're a support. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I remember, I mean, when I was visiting with you last time and you gave me the tour, just so much personality in which one of the animals.
Oh, yeah.
And so that brings a question. How did all of this start, and why goats in particular? And I know of course, they are amazing creatures.
Yeah.
But to you in particular, how did that journey start, and when did it hit you to, well, first to become vegan,
Yeah.
and then to start a sanctuary, and then why goats in particular?
Yeah, so I'd love to answer that question. So, it's really interesting. I loved animals my whole life. I grew up with dogs. We had a cat at one point. I volunteered at SPCA. I volunteered at wildlife rehab. So animals have always been a huge part of my life. In fact, here's a little picture of me as a little tiny little girl petting a goat.
Oh, that's so cute. Wow, how old were you?
Oh, I think I was, gosh, probably 7, I think.
Oh, so adorable.
74, so I was 6 or 7, yeah. So I've loved animals my whole life. My other big passion has always been food. I love food. I love eating. So, at some point in my life, before I went vegan, before I moved up here from San Francisco, I started to kind of think about what I was eating. I knew that meat came from an animal, and when I go out to restaurants, I started to feel a little guilty, like ordering a burger or ordering a piece of fish. And so there was a little seed planted in my brain somehow and in my soul. And then I owned restaurants for a long time, and one of our restaurants bought cheese from a dairy up here in Sebastopol. So obviously before I was vegan, we did a staff field trip up to Sebastopol, and we visited a dairy, and it was the first time that I had seen 150 goats all together, and I just fell in love with goats. I can't explain it. I think they have a very fun personality. They're very confident. They're very curious. They're kind of like dogs in that regard, and I'm a big dog person, so for me it was very easy to fall in love with goats. So that's kind of where the love for goats in particular sort of coalesced. And then gosh, about 6 months after I moved up to Sonoma County, I was on Facebook and I happened to see this video come across my feed. And it was interesting because it just said, the best speech you'll ever hear. And I was like, wow, okay, that's a pretty bold statement. So I watched it, and it was a speech by Gary Yourofsky, who's an opinionated and well-educated animal activist. And basically the speech was all about what happens in animal agriculture. And it was a very frank presentation, and his argument was infallible. And I cried all the way through it. It was really the first time I had seen slaughter, like, firsthand. And it was awful. And I had sort of just thought about giving up meat, but I was like, there's no way I could live without cheese. Like a lot of people, cheese is really hard. After seeing that, I went vegan overnight. I was like, I don't care how good anything tastes. I can't support this. I can't support what I'm seeing. It affected me so profoundly. So I went vegan overnight, and I started doing a bunch of research on eating vegan, about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture, the health benefits of eating plant-based. All my family has heart disease. My dad died of a heart attack at 48 years old. So, it was already kind of in my head too, like, hey, I am predisposed to heart disease. So there was multiple reasons for me going vegan. Of course, ethically, that was the most compelling choice. But also for health benefits and for environmental benefits, it made sense too. So I started reading all these books. I read nutritional studies. I just flooded myself with information, and I realized that I had really made a wonderful choice. And I feel like eating plant-based, it seems for one person for one meal is such a small gesture, but collectively it can make a huge difference in the way we feel about ourselves, our physical health, our spiritual health. Like, I go to bed at night knowing that I won't be part of a system that is so bereft with harm. That makes my soul feel good, And then we can heal the planet by eating plant-based. It just isn't. It's such an incredibly powerful tool. So at that point, I was kind of like a born again. I decided, like, I want to share this with everybody. I feel so strongly about the benefits of living this way and eating this way that I can't not share it. So, and driving around Sonoma County, you see all these pastures with goats and cows and sheep, and before I went vegan, before I was awakened, if you will, I used to look and see, like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's so pastoral and idyllic. And now, after having the knowledge that I had gained, I'm like, those are mothers, and their babies have been taken away from them. And in the case of male babies, killed. So I couldn't drive around and see that with my new knowledge and not take action. I guess I felt compelled to do something, I felt called to action in that regard. So that's when I started rescuing. And I'll tell you, when you start rescuing, the animals they just find you. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started, and I have the desire to share this with as many people as I can, because I think it's a great way to live and a great way to be, and it's the answer to a lot of our problems, frankly. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And how many total animals under your care right now at the sanctuary?
About 155. About 60 of those are birds, so the rest are mostly sheep and goats. We have 3 horses, and hopefully we're not going to have 4 horses. They're really big. They take a lot of space and a lot of work. And then 5 pigs. So, as our name implies, we really do specialize in goats and small ruminants like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the horses and all the other animals were quite beautiful and quite personable. The horses, I remember, were quite friendly, and they really. And it's what amazes me: these animals who have through so much trauma still trust us.
Yeah,
still trust us. It's just really a miracle how once they find the healing, and of course, as you know, some of them stay traumatized for quite a while, and of course, like all of us, like any person who goes through trauma, it takes time to heal, but then their ability to sort of go past it and connect and still trust us is incredible. And so for a sanctuary like yours, that you have all these programs. So, and particularly your sanctuary in particular has the name Education Center as part of the name. Mm-hmm. So I have a 2-part question. So one of them is, the first part is, what are these programs, what are the different programs that you do, and how do you go spending your time? And we have quite a few people who have joined us actually today, and there will be quite a few more people listening to us. How can people support you? Even people who live remotely.
Yeah.
How they can get involved with Goatlandia, how they can support the mission, how they can spread the word about the sanctuary in general and about the particular programs that you'll be talking to us about.
Yeah, of course. So to answer your first question, how do I spend my time? I work all the time. This morning I was outside doing animal care for 3 hours, which I love. I love being out with animals. So I spend my time doing everything. We're a very small staff, so I do animal care, I do adoptions, I do emails. So if anybody emails Goatlandia comes to me, I plan an event, I do our fundraiser. I wear a lot of hats, so it's not boring and very dynamic position. In terms of programs, I mean, one of the most important things that we do apart from breastfeeding is to give tours. The sanctuary experience is so valuable for some and hear their stories and look at their faces and snuggle with them and pet them. It's a powerful experience. So doing tours is a big part of what we do. We do private tours, we do group tours. We also do things like goat. We take groups on a little, it's more of a walk. It's kind of a leisurely walk, so it's strenuous. But we do that, and it's fun to get outdoors and walk with the goats and have lunch afterward. We launched our kids camp last year. That was a huge success. And kindness and equity and inclusion and anatomy of animals and environmental actions and healthy eating, and it was a huge success. So we're doubling our kids camp this year. We also do a lot of food. So my background in restaurant, Goatlandia, I wasn't really sure how to raise money. It's very different running a nonprofit than a for-profit business. So I started doing catering because that's what I do for running. And it turned out to be not only a great way to make revenue for our rescue work, but a great form of advocacy. So we were getting clients that, were local businesses and local individuals. And in order to get business, I was like, pricing us attractively, and people were so that became a big program for us. And we feed thousands of people every year. Small dinner, fundraising dinner, catering events, all sorts of things. You can come to the sanctuary and do a tour and then pay for lunch. And then we just bought a kitchen restaurant hospital that is going to become the Goatlandia Kitchen. So we're going to do that kitchen. Other programs, we go to centers for adults and children with disabilities, bring some of our ambassador animals, help facilitate some things through that bond. Yeah, we do a lot of different things.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it really blows my mind, the level of resilience, level of compassion, level of dedication, level of creativity that goes into having a sanctuary operational and being able to provide care day in, day out for the animals. And what amazes me is that in my interactions with sanctuary founders, the vast majority are actually women. To me, this is something that I like to emphasize all the time.
Yeah.
Is that it is, I mean, on the grassroots level, the people doing the work are absolutely, women are certainly overrepresented.
Yeah.
By a very large margin.
Too, and I think it's really interesting, and I think there's somewhat of a biological explanation for that. I think, and there are some men involved. I love it when I get to meet them. Yeah, exactly. I think women, because we are the gender that gives birth and nurtures our children. Like, I don't have human kids, but women are the ones in our species as well as others that give birth and nurture their young. So we're automatically wired, and we're biologically and emotionally designed to have those instincts. Otherwise, you know, we just have a baby and walk away. Like that doesn't do anybody any good. So I think women in particular, and this is a grand statement, of course there's exceptions on both sides, but we just tend to be wired more naturally for compassion and for nurturing. So I think women are often drawn to rescue work in general and nonprofit work. So, but yeah, I love that more and more men are getting into it. Like my husband married into it. So he's a rescuer now too. So. And then in terms of how to support Goatlandia, I mean, the most common one that all nonprofits need is just funding and resources. You know, again, a nonprofit is very different than a for-profit business. So the best thing that someone could support us is give us donations and give us resources. You know, all these programs take resources, and not only just materials, but take people to help make the program happen. So, you know, all the funds we need to take care of our animals, all the veterinary care that we give everybody gets the best of care, the food, all these things, you know, all these things cost money. So donating to Goatlandia is always something that you could do to help. And because we're in the middle of it, we know exactly where we need resources at the time, so we can spend our money really carefully. But we do spend carefully. We do all of our own construction ourselves. So when we're building barns or fences or new pastures, we do it ourselves. We save a lot of it. The other ways that some support us is volunteering. You can come help out. You can come help out. You can help out once a week for a year, whatever. We love having volunteers. It's a great way to come meet animals and get outside and do something physical and fun and meet like-minded people. Follow us on social media, share our posts. Yeah, those are all like some great ways to support, and just share your experience. Come here for a tour, you know, give us a little quote that we can use to show people how much you enjoyed it, or give it online. That helps too, just to spread. You know, the years I've been doing it, I'm really fortunate. I've seen such a growth and explosion of animal sanctuaries, and they're wonderful. We need the sanctuary experience, but it's very difficult work. It's very labor intensive and it's resource intensive. You need land, you need, you know, money for food and vet fees, and the work itself is very physical. So we couldn't do this without our supporters and and we're saving lives, and we rescued about 150 every year. But you know, more importantly, it's the impact that those 150 lives a year have on thousands of people that come and visit or share social media. That's where the real effect happens. That's the exponential effect. People's hearts and minds, you're changing their actions. You know, you're changing them in ways that you're inspiring different decisions. Like, instead of eating meat today, I'm going to eat vegetables. And you know, that's really good. So we're all together. We have so much power to change industry, to change the planet, to change our own lives. And that's where the power of sanctuary really is. It's that exponential growth and sharing of information experience that we can really make a global change.
That is really beautiful. And I encourage our listeners, if people are listening to us live and people who will be listening to the recording, to make donations. And I will myself will make one after this. Just as a way, of course, Deborah, the least I can do, but I just wanted to say that I'm really moved. When I was there last time, it was really quite an experience. And goats, I mean, as I was saying I think I said it on Facebook, they were growing on me. Goats were growing on me. If you look at my Facebook, if you look at my Facebook profile image, is actually with a goat. And very unfortunately, that particular goat, I took it the day we picked him up from Lassen. This is with Animal Place, and he has passed away. He has passed away. But I actually did drive some of the goats to their forever homes in near Fresno, Stockton. I was so incredibly happy to be involved. So volunteering with the sanctuary, I mean, to me, Animal Place, because I have been there since the end of 2018, and it's only about an hour away, so it's just easier for me to go and come back within a day. It's quite an experience. And not just that, the lifeline for sanctuaries are actually members and volunteers. And Deborah, you have memberships, and people will be able to sponsor animals. Do you have that option also?
We do, yeah. It's all on our website. So become a monthly, a member, and just any amount. You can sponsor an animal. There's a lot of ways to be involved. And, you know, I always tell people, even if it's like $5 or $10 a month, $5 or $10 a month is pretty easy to forget about for most of us. Fortunately, we're in that position. So you sign up and you forget about it. And if you get enough small donations on a regular basis like that, that can often be the fundamental core of our revenue. So every little bit really, really does. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I changed my mind. I'm not going to make a donation. I'm gonna become a member.
Yay!
So that I'm so no, absolutely. I would like to. My goal is as I'm meeting more and more sanctuaries is to become a member in as many as I can.
That's
humanly possible. In as many as I can, humanly possible, because I'm so incredibly in love with sanctuaries and what they do.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this university for humanity.
Yes.
If humanity is going to graduate into a better version of herself,
yep.
what she has to attend school. That's the school that we would have to rediscover the sentience of other animals. We would have to rediscover ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, a better version of ourselves, more compassionate, more thoughtful, more connected with the earth. And I think vegan sanctuaries are really the core of that mission. And to me, that's what they do. And is just to support them in that line. And also to people listening to us, if somebody has a stay and would like to choose Goatlandia as a sanctuary of their choice, we will be donating 50% from every reservation to Goatlandia. And as we were saying, Deborah, things are going to add up.
Yep.
We are actually starting to see people joining and choosing sanctuaries. So slowly, we have about 75 sanctuary partners in about 19 countries.
Yay.
So people are joining, and then so we are starting to see 2 over here, 4 over there, 1 over here. We're gonna get that, and we are working really hard to get you your first one, and then we build from there. And our goal is to have about 30 to 50 sanctuaries stay supporting you, and so that because someone like you with the resources, just imagine all the kinds of things that you'll be able to do in terms of spreading awareness and all of that.
Yeah, we have so many really fun program ideas, but you know, we're limited by staff and research. So yeah, I'm excited to grow. So, and it's interesting what you said about, you know, being a learning place for humanity. One thing that I've learned, and one way that this work has helped me personally, is learning that compassion needs to be extended not only to animals but to people. You know, I have this tattoo on my arm that reads compassion for all living beings, and I originally got it because I had all this compassion for animals. But as I've learned and grown over the years and had all these experiences, the compassion that I so easily able to show animals is now extended into people to a much greater degree than I've ever been able to. You know, I've had so many experiences, some of them recently, with people that are just struggling with this very deep-seated issues or challenges in their life. And, you know, often so quickly when we see someone distressed or acting a certain way and we're a little confused, we forget that we don't really know what that person is feeling inside. And we've all had days where we've like been a little crabby at our partner or like been a little grouchy, and we realize that normally when we do that, there's a need of ourselves that's not met. And so we need to practice to remind ourselves to show each other and ourselves the same compassion that we show animals. And that truly is the only way to help each other, is to be kind with each other. And I learned that through helping animals. So it's
Absolutely. I think I personally more and more I'm becoming convinced that the source of a lot that's wrong with the world and the core of the solution is our relationship with the rest of the animal kingdom. We have allowed ourselves to mutate into something that is not very pleasant, but what gives me hope is our ability to sort of unlearn that and learn something new. So earlier when we were talking today, you touched on the kitchen that you are building in Sebastopol and the food program. Could you please tell us a little bit more about that? Because I think there are more details to that than just the food, but the food program and all of that initiative.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've been, doing small catering jobs and, lunches and dinners for guests for years since I started. But sometimes we get really big jobs and we don't have a commercial kitchen to cook in, so we have to rent kitchens. We have to move everything there and prep our food and move it back. And it's just, we have so much opportunity that we can't meet because we don't have a kitchen, a commercial kitchen. So we finally decided, like, well, why don't we just get one? So we have this kitchen that we're building right now. We're replacing all new equipment because it was a barbecue restaurant. So we don't want the negative juju that comes with equipment. So all new equipment, all new flooring. It's just going to be really bright and fresh and new. So we're going to use that kitchen to do pop-up dinners, pop-up lunches, catering, of course. And we're also going to use it as a kind of an incubator kitchen. So if we find other vegan chefs that are just starting their business, or people that do fresh juices or do preserves or things like that, that prepare the kitchen with us, we welcome that as well. And then a really exciting program that we're starting this month in a couple weeks is called Lunchtime Takeover. So basically, we're going to businesses and giving them free lunch for up to 10 people. We deliver the lunch, which will be delicious, and of course, plant-based. And then we explain to them, hey, these are the reasons why you would want to eat plant-based, whether it's 1 day a week or 7. Show them the products that they can buy at the store that we use in their lunch. Help, give the tools where they want a different week. So we're going to do 2 lunchtime takeovers a week, and we have our first one in 2 weeks. So if anybody has any businesses want a great lunch delivery, call us or email us.
Absolutely, that sounds wonderful. This is another thing, because I sometimes visit when I go to, do things in but on the coast, in the either Bodega Bay or something. I usually go through that region, and now that I have the connection with Goatlandia, of course I will be visiting more. So that's a great thing. It's a great way. So now we know where to go and get some lunch.
Yeah, we're very excited. Like, I want to do a brunch. I want to do like dinner. We have so many ideas. So there's so many great ways and great, global cuisine to pull from to make food that's vegan and delicious. So we're very excited to get started, to get cooking for everyone.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. And so what's the timeline on that? What do you think the kitchen will be operational? Just around.
Probably going to be done in about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we just have to get our permit signed off by county. Once the kitchen is done, we can start doing all the catering and all that from the kitchen. The next thing we needed to do is renovate the dining area. So there's a really nice outdoor covered patio that desperately needs a facelift. And then there's a big, if you walk down a couple steps, a nice big outdoor area there that seats about 30 or 40. So both those areas have to be renovated. So that'll happen after. So I'm guessing we'll be open for guests probably, I don't know, May maybe.
Oh, wow. Soon. Wow.
So yeah, it's a pretty easy job, but we're staggering it just to spread the expenses out. So, and then we'll be able to actually do pop-ups there at the restaurant. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's amazing. Wow, I didn't realize that it's going to be that soon, because when we talked last time and today, I just was thinking maybe 24, 25. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, May, that is great to hear. So Deb, we are about halftime now, and of course, there is so much to your story and what you're doing. You could spend the whole day doing this, and we will have more chances to invite you and to hear a little bit more about the developments and everything else. I think it would be pretty awesome if at this point we could meet some of the animals. And in the meanwhile, for our listeners listening to us live or listening to us on the recording, please give Goatlandia a follow on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Please go to their website, goatlandia.org. And also, please consider becoming members. Please consider also donations, consider volunteering if that is feasible. And please consider also supporting them through the vegan stay by listing with us and choosing Goatlandia as your sanctuary. And so we are outside the house, and then we are going towards where the animals are.
Shout out to all the other sanctuaries in California, in our country, world. We are such an amazing there's no way we could do this alone and together. I'm so grateful to be in a group of people that run animal sanctuaries. We're stronger together for sure. So, all right.
That's
So we're going to
wonderful.
go meet Azel and Amaretto. These kids are about 8 weeks old. Here they are. Say hi. Azel. In there with them.
The connection is getting a little bit patchy, but I hope it's going to set. Yeah. Okay. On and off.
Okay.
Could you show them to us again, please?
There we go.
Patchy. Oh, wonderful. Okay, there they are. Of course. Hi. Oh my God. Of course.
There he is. These guys already have
baby.
They're lined up, so they're going to their home in about 4 weeks.
So the adoption. Oh my God! Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, Deborah, they love you. Of course they do. Of course.
Well, I feed them 3 times a day. They're on bottles 3 times a day now, so they always get very excited to see me. But yeah, they are just beautiful, and these sweet little boys are alive today because we took them in. So we have a lot of relationships with dairies and farmers that let us rescue animals. So we're grateful for the opportunity to do that and give these guys a life. So.
Of course, they deserve it. A life they deserve. Yep. And I have been following their story on Instagram, and they have grown quite a bit in the last few weeks.
They have, yeah. When I got them, I had one hand, and now they're heavy. They grow so fast. And the horns are getting really long. You can see how long they are. So yeah, they grow quickly.
Yeah. Oops, I'm just declining a call. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so we have these guys getting 2 for today, and then we'll probably get another dozen in the next month. So, and we do bottle feeding, and we give them all their vaccinations. They're available to be.
Yeah, and something about goats that probably most people don't know who have been around goats, that there is a goat when we picked them up from last. I named him Pac-Man.
Oh, that's cute.
They love to munch on anything on their.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah, they're very they explore with their mouth, so there's a lot of teeth going on. So, hi. I know. Look how cute he is. He's just so cute. You're so cute.
Oh, absolutely adorable.
So yeah, I'm excited to go to their new home. The lady that's adopting has adopted 2 goats from us before, and it was the first time she had goats, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, my life without goats. They're so fantastic." So, another benefit of having an adoption program is that we get to share the joy of living with animals like this with other people, and that's really valuable as well. That's another form of advocacy, in my opinion. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
A very effective form of advocacy when people come face to face with the animals. It's incredibly hard to go to eating them and abusing them if you come face to face with them. I mean, particularly.
Yeah, and I think that's where the sanctuary experience is so valuable. He's eating my hair. Is that, it's so funny. So many people that come here, they're like, wow, I've never met a pig before. I've never met a goat before. And it's so easy to fall in love with them. I mean, animals are just in the moment, and they're so easily capable of love. So that's the essence of the sanctuary experience, is allowing. It's very, very powerful. So
absolutely, it's all about breaking the circle of denial.
Yes.
And the first step in the circle of denial is distancing. If we distance ourselves from them, we can deny its existence. But once you come face to face with them, particularly if you are, and most people are, decent and understanding, compassionate human beings are going to respond.
Yep,
So.
exactly. So we're honored to do this work. It's very fun. It's consuming and it takes all of our time, but it's just so wonderful. Like, you know, there's that bumper sticker, like, who rescued who. Have you ever seen that? It has a little dog print on it. And I looked at that one day and it's like, oh, now I know exactly what that means. Like, this work, we rescue animals, but the act of rescuing, like, fills us and saves us as well, you know? It's just...
Oh my God, this is such a synchronicity. Recently, my status on Facebook was, veganism is not about animal, it's not about animal, but it's not the story of how humans rescued and saved animals, is about how animals saved humans from themselves.
Yep.
And so
absolutely. I'm getting on by all the little goats.
yeah, absolutely. So Deb, and then next to them, I could see on even just as you're moving, I could see goats on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, so that's one of our pastures back there behind me, and there's a mixture of goats in there. So up until yesterday, we had one pasture of moms and then one pasture of their kids, and because we don't castrate the goats until 8 months of age for health reasons, because they're very prone to urine moms, and we have to separate the boys, reunite the moms with their kids, and they were able to see each other through a fence. So now it's really fun. We've got moms back with their boys, all the other boys are hanging out with their aunties, and it's really cool. So we've got Merle, brown guy, that's right there, and then that one in the back is Mowgli. We have Mike, we have Stephanie. There's a bunch of goats just hanging around enjoying the sunshine.
That's really awesome. It's a beautiful day for them to be outside.
It is gorgeous. Yeah, I'm really happy that the ground's drying out a little bit. The sun is out. It's chewing my hair.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the kitchen, you should open a barber shop.
I know, right? Yeah, they're pretty good. There's a reason why I have short hair, right?
Oh my God, that's so darn adorable. Look at those faces.
So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And we, you know, I don't think that's where I'm at right now is Santa Rosa, where my home is, but we now have which is 38 acres. And not only do we have an animal, but for wildlife conservation area. It's a beautiful 20-acre area of wilderness for wildlife. Really honored to be able to create knowledge for rescued animals for wildlife as well. Oh, there's our girl. Hey, Alice.
Yeah, and so your dogs they get along very well with the goats and have a lot of fun playing with them, apparently.
And we have two, and Annie. They get along really well with everybody. Yeah. Except dinner. The dogs don't like anybody.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I don't remember seeing the dogs when I was there last time, but yeah, it's very clear even just by watching them from here that they really are having an awesome time.
Here comes Ella.
Hi, he wants to say hi to us. Hi.
Hey. Hi, buddy. Hey, buddy, because he rolled his leg. But our dogs are great hearing. That are kind of naturally hard for.
Hi, Deb. I think it's getting.
It's a very good way to deter person. You know, I think that's a lot more effective. Well, I've never had donkey, but the dogs barking are just a really effective way for them to let us know what they hear. This also prevents any predators from by. You know? So I think it's really effective.
Oh my God, look at that. That's just priceless. Just that is incredibly priceless.
I know. You guys are so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to jump out. Bye, kids.
Bye, babies. Bye. Good luck in your new home. Bye.
So we probably raised, gosh, I don't know, hundreds of kids over the years. We usually take in about 2 to 3 dozen babies every year. So this year's, baby season is just starting right now, kidding season. So we definitely have a lot more in a couple weeks. So, and
Yeah.
Day I'll pick that.
So you are playing the role of an adoption home as well as a fostering home at the same time.
We sometimes have fosters, but most of the time the animals are here with us until they go to their and we're very careful about it. We have a screening process that we use, and we do site visits, and if we don't think that it's a completely appropriate home, we say no. So animals are part of our family, so we want to make sure that they're safe, loved, and so, but yeah, it's great. It's wonderful adoption. Like, I know so many people that are oftentimes they call us and they're like, oh, so it's a great way to have them, but it allows us to rescue more. Have the loving home.
Absolutely. No,
we love doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Very inspiring, incredibly inspiring. So, yeah, very inspiring. So, Deborah, is anything else you would like to tell us before we wrap up today?
I think so. I think, thank you so much for having to everyone out there for all your support, and we'd love to do all stories. We're opening tour, so we're very excited for that. Check us out. Come visit. And yeah, just thank you. Very grateful to go here today.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I would like just to remind everybody, this is Deborah Blum, the founder of Goatlandia Animal Sanctuary in Sebastopol, California. So, and as we said earlier, that there are many ways to get involved. And very importantly, the lifeline of a sanctuary are the members. The members and volunteering, as well as even just giving a like or a follow on social media. And Goatlandia, the handle is Goatlandia. Or to me, it was very easy to find actually. Just put Goatlandia Animal Sanctuary in Facebook and Instagram. It will be the first one to show up. Please follow them up. Please consider becoming members. And also, if you have a stay, please consider joining the vegan stay and choosing Goatlandia as your sanctuary of choice, and then we will be supporting Goatlandia together in that way as well. Deborah, thank you so very much for sharing with us these priceless moments, and I'm so incredibly honored and happy to have you be part of our growing global family. Very thankful for all that you are doing for these incredibly deserving and incredibly special souls. And then, of course, you know that probably more than most. I mean, coming in touch with them day in and day out. And you are doing us all an incredible favor. So thank you very much on behalf of all our listeners. Yeah.
Really. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. We should do this again at some later time. I would love to come visit the restaurant. I mean, you're just only 2 hours away from me. That's not very far at all. I would make a weekend to come again for a visit. Yeah, for come a visit. And as I was talking to our listeners, please consider joining the website, becoming members, or just making a donation. Consider volunteering and following on social media and spreading the word and awareness about the amazing work that Deborah and her team are doing at Goatlandia, as well as other sanctuaries as well. You have a wonderful day, Deb, and I cannot wait to talk to you again and come visit.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Bye.